Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. As hopefully some more viewers come in, hopefully this little intro buffer will buy you time to get logged in. But welcome, everyone. I am Aaron Alonzo, the KIDSTAGE production manager in our Everett location. And on behalf of the Village Theater staff, both in Everett and in Issaquah, as well as our cast, crew, and production team, welcome back to the virtual realm and to Village Theater KIDSTAGE's Talkback of She Kills Monsters Virtual Realms. Woo! Oh my goodness, this is amazing and exciting, and I'm playing 3 different roles at the same time. Let me throw my name up there, and being tech guru and all of that. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope you all got the chance to see the show, She Kills Monsters, which just preceded this talkback, and we hope that you had a really good time. And so we are using this opportunity to kind of take over the Village Theater Facebook and YouTube to give all of you audience members an opportunity to kind of hear from our cast and our production team, to hear what it was like to make an online show. As we all know, this is kind of an unusual time for all of us, for audience members and, theater artists and of course theater students. This is a very weird time to be making theater. But through the magic of theater and the magic of technology, we have been able to create this amazing show for you, which is really, really exciting. So we hope that you stick around to hear kind of the battle stories and the cool discoveries that came along the way with the making of this show. So what we're going to do here throughout the night, you will get to meet everyone in the cast, which is super fun and exciting, as well as our director, who I will introduce in a few moments. And our director, Sophie Franco, will be our MC for the day, as they give the questions to the actors, and actors will give their 2 cents, and so on and so forth. So that's kind of how today is going to work, or it's not today, it's evening, so nighttime. So it is my pleasure to bring our incredible director into this room. They are the director extraordinaire who has been working for months and months with our production team, with KIDSTAGE staff, and of course our amazing cast to figure out how to make a show online. So it is my delight and pleasure to bring Sophie Franco, the director of She Kills Monsters, into the room.
Hey, Aaron.
Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is so strange. I cannot even begin to tell you.
Happy opening night.
Happy opening to all of us, and also happy closing, because it's a one night only deal. But it made the moment that much more special, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the fact that we get to have an opening and a talk back and have all of this like beautiful fun with our community is a miracle right now. So I'm just grateful that I can hang out with you on a Saturday night, Aaron Alonzo.
Likewise, likewise. Oh my gosh. And one of the things that I wish all of the audience members would know about us is, like, we are hardcore Lord of the Rings fans.
Oh, diehard.
And of course, this show, as you may or may not have guessed, like, is all about nerd culture and, all things geek within all of us. And, we had to pay homage to Lord of the Rings in the live stream somehow. And so this process has just been way too much fun for its own good,
Totally.
But what I would love to do is, even though we're going to spend most of our time with the cast, I also want to take a couple of moments to get to know you, and hopefully the audience will get to know you, to get a sense of what it was like for you in the driver's seat. Being the captain of the ship. We made a show online, but just like any other, non-musical play or musical, there's still a lot of work that goes behind the scenes, especially for the director, of course. Lots of planning, conceptualizing. So if you can kind of frame for our audience, like, discuss what your artistic vision was for this show, even though it was online. What kind of inspired you? What really, like, what do you connect with? Those types of things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I resonated so much just with the escapism quality, right, of D&D. Like, my first campaign ever was during the quarantine. And so I I just felt it so much on that level, right? And we're just living this Zoom reality,
Right.
which feels so gray compared to, right, the Technicolor experience of hanging out with people in real life. So that was something that I just couldn't shake, you know?
Yeah.
And I was really interested in exploring like sort of the four worlds that exist in the show, right? We have like the Zoom land of Ohio.
Right.
We have Newlandia, right? This like amazing magical place. We have this fantasy comedy, right? Slash satirical social comedy vehicle. And then we have right, this like gritty family drama with like
Right.
death and grief and all of this stuff. And so like for me, what was interesting was exploring all of the juxtapositions that are created so beautifully by all of those worlds, and you know, really finding like going so far into the magic and the characters and the out of this worldness of Newlandia that we find why the characters can be themselves in a real way that they can't be in the real world, right? And exploring like the fakeness of the real world. And yeah, so that for me was like really the big focus in the room, and finding right those moments of truth in all of the different worlds of the show. So that for me was like the North Star throughout. And then great, if we have special effects, awesome. If we have, which we had amazing special effects. I feel so lucky that, you know, Anna was an amazing editor and Rowan was an amazing editor. And but even if it was just people at you know, with scripts in hand at like the podium in front of a black curtain, like it still would have been that dynamic, right? Because of all of the worlds and the richness that they, when they tangle together, create in this play, which I think is so brilliant about it.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like there's probably no better contemporary piece of theater that where, like, as an audience member, you can, and as a performer in the show, you really can let your mind go wild. Just like it's all about the dreaming and the imagination, so on and so forth, and just building that fantasy world, right?
Yeah, totally. And just like taking it so far, like that was, I mean, one of the best parts of rehearsal was just like, well, what if you made a crazy voice? What if, you know, what if like goo came out of your eyeballs? Like all of these things.
Right.
And everyone was just so willing to play that it was such an easy room to be in. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And speaking of the rehearsal room, we should probably introduce some of our actors, shall we?
Our magical actors.
It is time. It is time for everyone to meet at least one half of our amazing cast, at least for this half of the Talkback. So I'm going to disappear. And Franco, feel free to take it away and introduce this first group of amazing, amazing actors. Yeah, take it away.
Yes. Thank you so much, Erin. Welcome, welcome all. Come on in, beautiful actors. Hey, look at us. We made a movie. It's our movie premiere. Beautiful. I would love for each of you to introduce yourselves. Ari, why don't we start with you?
Hi, my name is Ariette Power, and I played the role of Evil Gabby.
Thank you. Kara.
I'm Kara Peterson, and I was an ensemble member.
I'm Alex Donalds, and I was Vera.
My name is Annie Emmons, and I played Chuck.
I'm Anaí Jimenez, and I played Agnes.
I am Elliot Berry, and I played Steve Mage.
And I am Sophie Franco. My pronouns are they, them, and I was the director. Welcome to the room. Oh my gosh, movie premiere, so exciting. So the first question that I want to ask is like, what are your initial responses? How does it feel? What was striking about it? What was surprising? Let me know how you felt. So who wants to go first? Great, Ari, take it away.
Step into the ring. It was very interesting, and while I was watching it, my other D&D friends were, and it was interesting to see many D&D people all kind of bond over this dorky little story that everybody connected to and everybody was liking a lot. So that's what I took away from it.
Yeah, thank you. Kara, how about you?
My goodness, I could not find the unmute button. I don't know. I'm still like getting over the fact that it happened. And I'm so excited about it.
Oh, yay.
That's just like, I can't think of anything past that. That's just where my mind is at.
That's all good.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you. How about you, Alex?
I thought it was really funny and everyone was so amazing and it was really fun to make and watch.
Beautiful. Thank you. I'm so glad. DM Biggs, Annie, give it to us. What are your responses?
I was first really anxious because I didn't want to watch myself on the screen. But I really enjoyed seeing it all together because when you're filming, it's kind of out of order and you're not getting the full story. So being able to see the amazing effects in editing and then also the heart of the show and the comedy of the show was so incredible, and it was really fun.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was something I definitely felt too. I was like, oh, it's that's right. There's an arc to the story. It's all in order now. Beautiful. How about you, Anai?
Listen, me and Annie are very similar. We see each other. We both struggle with like watching ourselves. I cannot with cast video tapings, but I was really excited to see how it came out. And I was rolling on the couch with my family, just like laughing at each other, myself, and the editing. It took me out several occasions. I think I screamed over the cast. Sorry, guys.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And how about you, Elliot, our great narrator and the mage Steve?
It was really fun to see like the special effects because like the story I knew, but like the special effects just really added to the overall show. So yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. All right, y'all. How was making a film different than rehearsing a play? Ari, take it away whenever you're ready.
I felt a lot more prone to distraction, and I felt a lot more at ease building a character. I didn't have to sit there and be like, oh, wait, I have rehearsals. I have to leave the car. I have to do everything in the car because I don't have enough time. I felt very like, I have time for this. I can make this perfect. I feel comfortable. Sure, it was prone to distraction because you are in your own room, but it felt a lot more comfortable, and I could explore things that I usually wouldn't have time for.
Oh, that's so good. I'm so glad. Thank you. Awesome. Great. How about you, Kara?
I mean, yeah, you're a lot more prone to distractions and everything that's going on. It's harder when you're not in like a room with people, where you can have that like physical thing, and then just like setting up green screens is probably the hardest thing, which is a weird thing to be hard, but I have a cat, and so I was so scared that she was just gonna pull it down in the middle of filming. Yeah.
I totally, I hear you for sure. For me, like such a big part of rehearsing is the kinesthetic energy in the room, you know? So like that, having actors do things other than just act, you have to set things up for yourselves. Like you all had tons of challenges that you overcame throughout the whole process. Alex, what was it like for you to rehearse and film a movie instead of being in a play?
Well, this was actually my first Zoom production, so that was weird. But also, making making a film was really fun because, the green screens were pretty difficult to put up. But being able to like see the end result as like an audience member was really fun, and with all the special effects as well, those were amazing and funny.
Beautiful. Who's our friend after Alex in the lineup?
I think it's
It's Annie. It's DM Biggs. DM Biggs. Let us know. What was it like to make a movie?
It was crazy, especially because like usually opening like stresses you out so much. But like this time I was like, I don't have to do anything. I can just sit here and eat my chocolate. Also, it was, as people were mentioning, it's really hard. It was harder to like establish a connection with your scene partner because I have to look into a Zoom camera. I can't look at you on Zoom, and I can't like do blocking, which usually helps me get into it. So it was a really fun and interesting challenge, actually. And it was my first play, too. So it was like 2 challenges in one, but it was a lot of fun for sure.
Oh my gosh. Well, you slayed it for your first play, my friend. Anaï, what did you feel about it? Also, as a person who you're like, oh, I don't like watching myself, right? Like, how is this process different for you? And you carried the whole heart of the play, you know?
I mean, shoot, I tried. It was interesting because with the show, you have to do the whole thing in one go simultaneously. You have to memorize all your lines. You have to know all your blocking. Mama, my blocking was sitting in a chair. Almost every scene. You told me to stand up, Franco, like 1 time. And I was like, really? And, you know, you don't do that in a normal rehearsal. So, yeah. It was
yeah, you didn't like that much, did you? Thank you.
Yeah.
And Elliot, let us know, what did you think about making a film and being the narrator of the movie, man? Elliot, you there?
I think he disappeared.
Oh no, we lost Elliot. Oh my God. Hopefully he'll just pop back in.
Wait, hold on, hang on. I have power. Hang on.
Elliot!
My computer died. Like
you pulled a great Main Steve, man, and disappeared.
You came back to life.
Welcome back into the space, Elliot. Okay, so just in case you missed it, the question is, what was it like making a movie versus rehearsing a play?
It was really fun to like see the story, because like during like a live play I wouldn't, until like a month later I would get like the DVD and stuff and then be able to see it like really pixelated. So it was really fun to just see it.
I'm so glad. And for the final question for y'all, it is, if you could go back in time to the beginning of our process and give yourself one piece of advice, what would it have been and why?
I would tell myself, stop stressing out. I spend a lot of time stressing out and having a lot of problems with my, like, building the character. So just bringing myself down and saying, hey, this is going to be fun. This is going to be cool. Take a breather.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. I love that so much. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Great. I like keep forgetting who's in the order, Erin. When it's just Kara.
I think I would just tell myself to take more risks with the characters because I have a small part. They're kind of bigger things that I can do because, you know, I don't have this character arc. I just kind of have like this small role. So I can make it all up. And I think that was something that I was super scared to do because I've never really done that before. But yeah, I think I would just tell myself to take more risks and have more fun with it. Yeah.
That's so interesting because I always thought you were so brave and fun and creative in the room. So to know that there's even more creativity back there, I love it. I can't wait. I hope you take that into processes in the future. Lovely. The next poison, please, Alex.
I would probably tell myself to think more about what my character's feeling in the moment and really also their past and what happened to make them who they are now.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Thank you, Alex. Annie, what piece of advice would you give yourself?
I think going into it, as someone who had like only done musicals, I never saw myself as like being able to rely on my acting abilities.
Oh my gosh.
I know it was like, you're not an actor. And I feel like that kind of held me back in the beginning of the process. And I feel like if I could go back, I'd just be like, you have to just like stop with that anxiety, stop with that worry. Like, it doesn't matter if you're actor third, actor second, actor 50th. Like, you just got to give it your all and take those risks. And just like scoop out the acting and the risks. Yeah, out of you. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And I just want to say, like, I know for a lot of members of the cast, it was like their first play rather than a musical. And every single one of you is an actor. Every single one of you, right, was coming in and we were working together and working on your objectives and your tactics, and you're making big choices. We did a stop and go during our text work where basically we would be reading the show and I would stop the actors and say, great, make a new choice, make a new choice, make a new choice. And just to watch you all react and adapt to that and take it in a stride, it was a beautiful thing. So just wanted to say that. Even if you never acted in a straight play before, you're all actors. Anai, what piece of advice would you have given yourself?
I would have told myself to trust the process, because it definitely feels weird sitting in a wheelie chair in your room behind a blank wall or in front of a blank wall. And, you know, eventually it'll turn into the mountain of steepness. And yeah, it may feel stupid waving around a huge sword in front of your dresser and hoping you don't hit everything. But it looks amazing in the end. So I would definitely tell myself to stop being so skeptical, chill, because it'll all turn out fine.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. And thank you for waving that giant sword.
Oh, my pleasure.
In front of your dresser. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Elliot, how about you? What piece of advice would you have given yourself at the top of the process if you could?
To like memorize my lines, because I was in my scene, I would constantly look down at my script. And so my head was going like that. And so it just would have been better if I hadn't done that.
Sure. I mean, that's also tricky too. And that I think is partially on me, right? Because as the director, I did not require you all to memorize your lines because I'm like, why not? The PDF is right here next to your camera, you know? But yeah, I hear that. I think, you know, for sure in the future, maybe memorizing your lines. That was beautiful. Thank you. I just would love for all of us to do our little closing ritual with this group before we move on. Thank you so much for being here today, Elliot.
Thank you for being here today, Alex.
Thank you for being here today, Annie.
Thank you so much for being here today, Ari.
Thank you for being here, Anai.
Thank you for being here today, Kara.
And thank you for being here today, Franco.
Thank you all so much. You're the best. And I hope that our paths cross soon and I get to see you in lots of plays forever.
Yay! You can put plays under your belt and on your resume, everyone. And thank you for all of you for being here today. Thanks so much. All right, cast group number 1, you may now log off. I'm also going to I think I can remove you.
Bye, y'all.
Remove.
Have a good night.
Remove. Excellent.
Humans.
Beautiful humans. All right, so as we wait for the second half of the cast to come in, y'all get to hang out with us again. It's the Aaron and Franco show. It's like this is the intermission gig. But something that I'm sure that all of our audience members, Franco, caught on to really early on, and this was something that we went back and forth as a production team on. This ended up being a film. We were kind of channeling our inner Steven Spielberg, our inner Greta Gerwig.
Peter Jackson.
We were channeling Peter Jackson, a la Lord of the Rings, right? Like, we made a film using a theatrical script. Like, how cool is that? So, like, for you as the director and, again, the captain of the ship, like, how is making a film different than making and producing a play? And what were some, really cool aha moments that you had either for like you or you amongst the cast while you were all collectively making the show?
Yeah, great question. It's just such a funny thing as a director or as an actor or whatever, right? We train in theater. I'm like, oh, I do theater because I love being in the room with people. I love, like gathering with the crowd, hearing the audience gasp or laugh or whatever. And this is not that, and so like realizing, I think like a big aha that I had later on as I was like learning how are we making a film? How am I directing a film? Is like, that's right. Like that the audience's eye is so much more narrow. Right. And so it's like, I mean, so specific, right? Down to the cut, down to the look, like, the small little things. And so like understanding that, okay, great. This is our stage. And so everything has to be so much more specific.
Yeah.
Which is also why we like really ground deep into the table work at the top of the process, because it's not like, great, you're on stage 50 feet away from the audience and I just need you to make this shape with your body. And, like it's just so much more intimate. And so like learning how to navigate that, like with the actors, and also, like for me, it was really important, and I would do this, theater or film regardless, but like talk about, like, it was really important for me to talk about, great, like we have true sadness, grief, death, all of these really heavy things that are sprinkled into this amazing comedy, and I was like, great, we can tell the story in a technical way, right? Just by using your eyes as an actor, which are so expressive, just the difference between this and this when you're talking to someone, right, is conveying so much, and that's purely technical, right? It's like I feel nothing in terms of my eyes here or here, but it's conveying so much. So that was also like, great, really getting specific with the notes of like, in this scene, I need you to do this with your body, right? And being more specific in that way, which I'm not accustomed to doing with stage acting.
Sure, yeah.
And then also too, right, like we have the whole process in stage acting to do the whole show and have the whole arc. And I'm like, great, I've run the show 3 times and now I'm like sitting in the tracks and it's comfortable. And like with film, you don't have that luxury at all. It's like, okay, we're going to film scene 20 and then scene 13 and then scene 7. And so really also making sure that we were really aware coming in as artists, great, this scene is important, right? This scene happens in the plot because this thing needs to happen. What is your character entering with, right? What do they need in this scene? What are they trying to get? And just getting even more specific, because you don't have the luxury of just riding the wave of the story as the actor,
right?
And
kind of letting all of the technical elements, like when you're on stage, kind of support your work. You have to be very conscientious in film of all of those other technical elements, because they can help dictate or help ruin either a take or a certain like emotional beat you want to hit, right?
Oh, absolutely. And then too, it was like also just more than being a film. It was being a film in a virtual time where I can't even, I'm not close to you. I'm not able to do a movement exercise of like, great, we're a little low energy right now. Let's do this movement exercise all together. And so navigating that, I think, as a group too was important to it. But yeah, I also, this isn't exactly on the topic of your question, but I feel like it's so important to bring up, was that a huge part too of being in rehearsal on this show was, we began rehearsals in December while all of this, chaos is happening in the real world, right? And so like creating the worlds of the play that were beautiful and joyful, and really even though we're virtual and even though it was a movie and not a play, it still felt like a beautiful community. And that was so special, like just I would do this show with this cast over and over and over again, because it was such it reached through it reached through the computer into my heart, you know,
Yeah.
which I think was unexpected. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's Doom, okay. But it was so emotional and beautiful.
Yeah, just being able to, like, even though we of course we're physically distant and we're speaking to a camera, just like being able to connect emotionally in some fashion, like that's why theater is the way it is. It tugs at the heartstrings. It is about humanity, and it still has a way to do that even remotely. Like, how awesome is that, right?
Yeah, it
Goes without saying.
so grateful for it.
Yeah, that's an excellent segue because we've got our cast in the waiting room, group number 2.
Yay!
So speaking of community, we got to bring the second half of our cast community in here. So once again, I'm going to disappear. Let Franco take it from here to introduce the second half of the cast of She Kills Monsters. So
Okay,
yeah, take
thank
it
you.
away.
Oh, welcome in, my friends. Oh, I'm so excited to hang out with all of you. What's up? Hey, y'all. Oh my gosh. We did it. We made a movie. Okay, wonderful. So please introduce yourselves. Let's start with Risa and then take it down the line.
All right. Hi, I'm Risa. I played Orcus / Ronnie. So I was the one with my entire face painted red. That was very interesting. Yeah, that's
wonderful. Thank you. How about you, Jordan?
Hi, I'm Jordan Jones, and I played Lily / Lilith.
Great, thank you. Hawani.
Hi, I'm Hawani, she, her. I played Evil Tina.
Thank you. And Sage. Oh, you're muted, my friend.
Darn it. I'm Sage, and I played Farrah the Fairy.
Welcome, welcome. Erin.
Hello, I'm Erin, and I played Kelly and Calliope.
Beautiful. Welcome, Julian.
Hi, I'm Julian, and I played Miles.
And last but not least,
Sophia. Hi, I'm Sophia Corpening. My pronouns are she, her, and I played Tilly.
Beautiful. Thank you all so much for being in this space tonight. Oh my gosh, it was so exciting to watch the show. What was it like, right, getting to watch yourself in a piece of work that you've made? Like, I assume that most of you have never really had that experience before. So tell me, what was it like watching yourself tonight? Risa, do you want to take it away?
Sure, I will. It was, really interesting. I have never really watched myself in a show before. Like, I've seen recordings of shows on an actual stage that I've been in, but I've never done something like a movie. So that was it was just a really different experience, but it was also really fun to get to see how it everything came together. It was just really cool.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. Awesome. How about you, Jordan? What was it like for you to watch yourself?
Yeah. It was definitely interesting watching myself act, but I think what it was for me was getting to watch everybody else perform, because usually in a show you don't really get to really watch your castmates perform. So getting to kind of be part of the audience and watch everyone else perform, it was kind of like, wow, everyone's really talented. Like, this is a really talented cast. And I really enjoyed that part, because that's something you don't usually get to do when you're in the show live. So I loved getting to watch everybody else do their thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, that's so good. Hawani, how about you?
It was so weird. Hearing the lines and feeling the vibes, I kept on unconsciously doing the facial expressions that I cultivated for Evil Tina. I was worried my parents would look at me and be like, "You okay?"
You were slipping into character. I love that so much. Sage, what was it like for you to watch yourself as Farrah the Fairy?
One of the weirdest parts of it was I usually don't get to like see my family's first reactions. Like with and so because I was watching with them, and that was really strange for me to be watching with my family and see this product for the first time at the same time as them. And like because usually they're just like in the dark for me and while I'm performing. So it was weird. And it was also weird because I'd like try and remove myself from it and try and watch it like as a show instead of watching me act. Because it's always like it's cool, but it's a little strange. Like I to like remove myself from it. Like I did that last week, and now I'm watching it, and it's a weird thing. And so yeah, it's definitely really weird, but also really cool because there were scenes I hadn't seen all put together yet.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Next friend. What was it like? Erin McClary, what was it like to watch yourself in a movie?
It was bizarre, to say the least. Yeah, it was good fun to watch it with my family. Again, never really done that before. It was cool to see everything once it had all been like clipped together and made into a full movie, because we'd seen scenes out of order in rehearsals before and while we were recording, but we'd never seen them all like put together and in the order of the show. So it was really cool to see how everything flowed together. I also ended up forgetting which scenes went at some spots, and I was kind of surprised by that at points.
Oh, for sure. Thank you. Julian, what was it like to see Miles in the movie?
It was absolutely terrifying. I think I can say pretty confidently I was much more nervous like in this process than I would have been if I was like actually performing it live. But it was also really educational. I think just like get to watch myself. I think I learned a lot about like how I perform, like certain stuff I do that I wouldn't have picked up on had I not watched myself.
For sure. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you. Sophia, what about you?
I really think that also like what Julian said, very terrifying. And just like I don't know, it was really cool to like be both like on stage and also like in the audience, and to like be able to like react as an audience member like with my family, and also like in the setting that it is, because it is like a virtual show, and like we're in the comfort of like our own home sitting on our couch and just like seeing their reactions, and also getting like little comments here and there. Like I got one from my dad about like him noticing like the magic missile early on, being like, I knew that was coming. So just like getting that was like a really cool experience.
Oh my gosh, awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, all of you. Great. So the second question, how was being a part of this show similar or different from shows you've been in previously? Like, did you try a different genre of performance? Were you a different kind of character than you usually play? Let us know. Risa, take it away whenever you're ready.
All right. Well, I mean, the one big difference between this show and other shows is that in this one I had to spend half an hour painting my entire face red. So that was fun. And it took like another half an hour in the shower to take it all off.
Listen, thank you for doing that. You are a good sport, Risa. You are a good sport. I'm really glad that you did that for the movie.
I know. It looked great. At least it looked great. But, I don't know. Other things, like, I feel like in like theater performances, usually you'll like kind of just work on like it's like you'll work on the whole show and like do full run-throughs of the show. But like with doing it like a movie, like you just work on the same few scenes and then you record the scenes and you never do like a full read through. Like we did like 2 full read throughs and they were both at the beginning, and it's just a much different process. And it was interesting experience.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Great. Yeah. Okay, great. I'm like, who's our next friend? Jordan. I'm so sorry. I keep forgetting who's in the lineup. But,
no problem.
How was this experience similar or different from previous processes for you?
Well, I mean, there was a lot different. First of all, it was online, which was
minor detail.
It was interesting. I think for me, one of my favorite parts about being in plays is the friendships you build with your like castmates. And I was curious of what that was going to be like online, but somehow we all still managed to become close and like bonded. And I think even though it was a different environment, it was still the same in the sense that, you know, you're like castmates to become sort of like a family, you know, like everyone's gets so friendly and close. And I missed that with plays being canceled previously because of COVID. So I was still so glad to have this opportunity and get to meet new people and explore that process with them, even online. So that's what I'm thankful for.
Yay! Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, friendships and community is the best part of theater. I agree. Hawani, how about you?
Well, I've never played a villain before. Well, I have, but it was in villain school. Everyone was a villain. But something that was really similar was a long time ago, I did an original show where I was an evil witch and my scene partner was the prince. And in reality, we were best friends. We ended up having to add each other on social media so we could discuss stuff for our scene. And Ari, Evil Gabby, and I did the same thing so we could discuss our ideas for costumes, makeup, even the dance. And I really enjoyed that in both experiences.
Oh, I love that. Thank you for sharing, Hawani. Sage, how was this experience similar or different for you from other processes?
I think it was really weird. Like the accessibility was different. Like unlike other shows, I couldn't just like walk over to the costume department and ask questions. One thing that was really weird for me was just out of context getting a bag of bones and a dragon mask in the mail. I didn't know what they were for, or if they got sent to the wrong house. For like a day, I was really confused. And then I noticed the bones didn't even get used. So there's that. And something else really weird is that I'm not used to doing like multiple takes that you can choose from. I'm used to like, you just do it live and it is what it is, and then you have another show. But like in this, it was really strange because it was like you like get to choose the best of your performances, which is like, it's cool and it's good in a different way. It's just like not what I'm used to.
Yeah, sure. That makes complete sense. Yeah, those bones cut from the movie. Beautiful. Thank you, Sage. Erin, how about you?
So I've done 2 virtual shows this year previously, but the most different thing about this one was probably just the rehearsal time, because we started rehearsing December the 26th, I believe, and we went up until like last Saturday, and then we stopped and it was done, and it was like, wait, hang on, no, what do I do with my Saturdays now? What do I do with my time that I used to have with these people? And it feels like even though we were rehearsing in such a short time, we still became just as close as any other cast, despite the fact that I haven't met most of the people in this cast. I think I've met 2 people in this cast before.
Wow.
So yeah, it was really odd not having that connection with people, but then somehow still managing to build it over a short period of time without ever seeing them in person.
Yeah. I'm so glad and happy and grateful that was part of your experience and also my experience personally on this show. Just the sense of community building was beautiful. Julian, how about you?
Oh, well, I heard Aaron and Franco talking about like riding the wave of the show a little bit ago. And I'd never really done like a film thing where you record a scene and then it's just like done and over. And then you move on to the next one. So I think that was like a really interesting challenge for this one because before like each scene I recorded, I'd have to have like this extra element of just thinking about like where this character had been and where they were like in their arc instead of just like riding the entire wave at once.
Yeah.
Which was a really fun and unique challenge.
Oh, cool. I'm so glad. Yeah, that was a challenge for sure, but you rose to the occasion, Julian. How about you, Sophia?
I think for me, it would probably have to be like the type of character that Tilly was, because for me, like I'm used to playing a lot of like comedic roles that are very just like out there and kind of like flamboyant. And for Tilly, it was like a lot more serious and just like definitely like just the themes also that like the show dealt with were like some that I have not like experienced in like any of the shows that I've been in, like sexuality and just like self-identity and just discovery of people and just like dealing with loss. It was really cool to like get to see how that all played out, and like in the show it's really beautifully written. So yeah, that was a really cool experience for me.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Oh, beautiful. Thank you all for answering that question. Our final question for this evening is, what is one thing that you're going to take from our process from She Kills Monsters and take it with you into the future? How about you, Risa? Whenever you're ready.
Oh, all right. Man, there were a lot of things. I don't know.
That's okay. You don't have to pick just one.
All right. Well, I really can't think of anything. Can we come back to me in a minute?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Of course. Who is ready to go? Jordan, do you feel like you're ready?
Yeah, for sure. I think for me, well, this was my first ever like movie, so that was super exciting and just being part of a movie process. So I hope to do more movie things in the future. Like I'm really passionate about that. I really enjoy acting for film, and that's something I've always wanted to like try. So now that like I've had like kind of that experience, and kind of I think a lot of people talked about building off of the idea of like not having to be able to ride the wave. You have to like think about it in the moment, you know. So it's just it's so different, and I'm just really glad that I got to experience that, so I can hopefully take that with me if I were to do more movies in the future. So I'm really glad for that experience.
Oh, so cool. Thank you so much for sharing that, Jordan. I hope you do all the movies that you want to do. How about you, Hawani?
I was saying this in the cast Discord chat, but I've never performed while my parents are near me. They're always in the audience, well out of teasing range. And after this experience where they would be just outside the door hearing me do the evil Tina voice, hearing me taking directions and all that, I'm a lot less nervous performing in front of them directly. And I know that is going to follow me into the future.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad that was part of the process for you. That's so good. Sage, how about you? What's one thing you're going to take from this process into the future?
I think not just from it being remote or anything, just something that happened in this show is I want to do more like interactive character analysis. In this show, I did more of that, of like private messaging people and talking about how our characters relate to each other. And that was really cool. And we came up with all this stuff that doesn't even present itself in the show, but it really helped me connect and get into the character. Like Annie and I agreed just because that Farah has a real person counterpart, and Farah and Chuck are dating now after the show, just because it's not pertinent, but it's there now.
Like, and it helps you connect.
It's just fun to do that interactive character analysis and work on relationships.
Oh, so cool. I love that. Thank you, Sage. What about you, Erin?
Well, Sage kind of stole mine there, so, you know. Yeah, I was going to say the character analysis was so much more in-depth than anything I've ever done before, even in, again, such a short time. Like we had these kind of embodiment exercises of going through the script and finding out what our character would be doing in scenarios that don't come up in the show. And then kind of writing things about that. And I feel like this is one of the most developed characters I've ever played, which was one of my goals coming into the show, was to learn how to develop character from the script. And this
Woohoo!
we do that. So yeah, that's definitely what I'll be taking away.
That is so awesome, Erin. I'm so glad. What about you, Julian?
Kind of similar to that, just like the explorative process. We created like a cast Google Doc where we went through like the show and we asked like any possible question about any character or any situation, and then we like go through and answer it as our character, like the questions that pertain to us. And that was just like a really useful technique in getting to know my character better, especially like at the very beginning when I was trying to find like the character's identity. So that was really helpful and something that I'll definitely try and take with me.
Oh, awesome. Sophia, what are you going to take into the future from this process?
Well, what Sage and Erin and kind of what Julian said also, just like the really like in-depth like character work with other people and like building relationships. I definitely like had a lot more of that in this show than like I've ever had. And also just like opening up with people, because I feel like before, like at the beginning of this process, I was like a lot more to myself and just like scared to like go out there and like ask questions and just say things, like present ideas. But then like when I started working with all of you amazing cast and like specifically Sage, I had like a really like deep conversation about our characters and like their relationships. And I thought that was like really cool to like just go like so in depth with that and just like get these friendships out of it because of that. So yeah.
That's so beautiful. Thank you. Risa, are you ready now, friend?
I am ready now.
Yeah, tell us.
All right. I think one of the things I'll take away from this is really just like how fast you can like get a whole show done. Like someone already mentioned this, but like we did the whole show in like a month, and all the other shows I've been in have taken like 3 months at least to do the whole thing. And this literally, it was like 3 rehearsals a week for a month, and we put together a whole show and recorded it, and it got edited, and we just watched it tonight, and it was honestly just crazy how fast it was. Like, and it was really cool.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's such a good point, Risa. It felt like lightning. Like it happened so quickly. Oh, beautiful. Well, I'm so grateful I worked with each and every one of you. You're all so talented and smart. And like I said before, I would direct this show with all of you a million times over. So thank you so much. Thank you for being here today, Hawani.
Thank you for being here today, Sophia.
Thank you for being here today, Erin.
Thank you for being here today, Julian.
Thank you for being here today, Risa.
Thank you for being here today, Sage.
Thank you for being here today, Jordan.
And thank you for being here, Franco.
Thank you all. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Cass. Yay!
Yay!
We did it! Yes. And to our viewers at home, you got to meet the cast and, of course, our director of She Kills Monsters. I hopefully everyone in the audience is like, yes, cast, and yes, Franco. Exactly. So at least I know I speak on behalf of the cast as well when I say this, and everyone at Village. Thank you so much for. I've been using this metaphor a lot tonight. Like, thank you for captaining the ship and for being a yes and person and jumping into the crazy world of online theater. This is very strange for everyone.
I feel so grateful. Working with KIDSTAGE has been awesome. I would do it again. Hire me anytime you feel like it. And And yeah, it was just such a beautiful experience, and honestly, like, was such a light in my life through this like crazy time. So I feel so grateful, and it was great. And thank you, all of you who are tuning in right now. We hope you enjoyed the show. And just thank you so much for supporting art and supporting students. So thank you so much.
Yes, yes, yes. And of course, you know, I wouldn't be me if I didn't at least plug our upcoming things that KIDSTAGE is doing, just because we are, you know, we're here online and we can't be in the room where it happens, so to speak, doesn't mean we can't still do some cool things. So for those of you still watching in our audience, we've got 2 really awesome events coming up. Starting on Friday, February 12th, we have our Sing It Forward soiree, which is our KIDSTAGE annual fundraiser. We're going virtual this year, of course. So if you want to see all the amazing things that our students have been doing and what we've been kind of cooking up our sleeves, please join us on Friday, February 12th to do that. Information is on the Village Theater website. And we also have auditions coming up. Oh my God! For the actors out in the audience, if you have been itching to work on another show, we are looking for actors for our KIDSTAGE Originals productions. Ooh!
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so KIDSTAGE Originals is modeled off of Village Theater's New Works program, where students get to work and write their own shows, which is super fun and amazing. And this year, we're going like hardcore to the max. We've got 3 writing teams currently working on 3 shows right now, and they are in need of actors. Oh my goodness. Annie Emmons, who you saw earlier in this broadcast, who played Chuck, is one of the writers on one of the teams, which is super fun and exciting. Yeah. So for those actor folks at home who are really interested and really wanting to kind of dip your toes back into auditioning, these 3 shows need some actors. So audition materials are due on, I should look at my calendar, Saturday, February 13th. So that gives you about like 2 weeks or so to get that information in. And of course, info can be found on the Village Theater website. So if you're interested, we'd love to have you audition. So of course, I had to plug ourselves.
And I'll give one little piece of advice to the auditioners.
Yes.
Something that I think is so important to remember when you're going into an audition and you're feeling nervous is that you have nothing to prove and everything to share.
Oh, like, take that, put it in your back pocket, everyone. Well, on behalf of Franco and the KIDSTAGE staff and the Village Theater staff, and of course, our amazing cast and crew, everyone, thank you so much for not only watching She Kills Monsters, but for taking time out of your day to join us for this post-show talkback. Have a great rest of your evening, and hopefully we'll see you either in the virtual audience, but hopefully very soon we can get you all back in the room where it happens in person. So thank you very, very much. Have a great rest of your night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.